What's good, squad? Back with another video. Pest control service. Let's do it.
Pest control service training video. In this video, we're going to go over how a Proz service technician will do a general pest service for our customers.
I'm just going to go ahead and start here. First with the drive up. Whenever you're doing any type of like pest control service, especially like if you're a technician, supposed to like pull up on the right hand side. So basically your passenger side door needs to be in front of their house. Never park in front of the mailbox. It's usually what they say. Mailbox is a no-no, just in case, like, you know, obviously like they're getting their mail, or some people, like, you know, have their checks coming in, so you don't want to park in front of the mailbox. But just making sure you pull up correctly. Clean truck, of course, making sure nothing like weird is hanging out.
When the technician arrives at a house, he will...
Hey, look at this boy. He got a hat on. Yep, he got the hat on. He got the slacks. He got the belt, shirt tucked in. You got the name tag. Well, he's looking good.
Obviously knock on the door. A lot of times...
All right, notice he got the B&G, right? And he's got the gloves on. So when he was walking up, right, he didn't have the gloves on or anything else. He also wasn't carrying the canister. So I'm assuming he probably talked to the customer first, and then the customer needed the interior sprayed. No, that's probably what they're doing, but it's just recording.
You'll need to...
But see that B&G? That's what you usually put most of your chemical inside. But
knock, maybe even ring the doorbell. Sometimes the customers may be in the back of their house and may not hear. But if the customer's home and they would like to have the inside serviced, the technician will do this service pretty much as such. So here's the inside service and what's done on that.
Okay, he got lucky. I'm not even gonna lie, about 50% of the time you'll knock, right? Nobody will come to the door, because we all get used to it, you know, solicitors sometimes, depending on where you live. But, you know, you'll knock, nobody will come to the door, even though they hear you knock. Right, you'll ring the doorbell. They'll still hear you ring the doorbell, and it's not until you like get to like the backyard or the side yard where they realize, like, oh, this person is actually here for me. Like, anyway, he got lucky that they opened the door to do the interior service. So we'll continue there.
Let's see here. Here we go. The inside service.
Yeah, inside service.
So when he gets in, you know, you want to obviously make sure that the B&G is properly
pressurized.
Inflated, I guess you could say, pumped up. Basically what you're going to do is spray along the baseboards. As you can see.
All right, let me stop right there. You see how he's spraying right now? Right? This man is at almost like hip high spraying that.
Is properly
right?
Inflated, I guess you could say.
Supposed to at least be closer to the floorboard down here. Right? And the reason being is because you start like spraying up walls too much. Depending on the paint, whatever chemical, it might leave like a residue. Most of them don't, but you never know what's in the actual technician's B&G. Like, most customers don't know this. Like, you just expect them to spray something that's like, you know, what is it, like pet safe? But you really don't even know what they're spraying. Sometimes the technician doesn't even know what they sprayed in the last service, right? They completely forgot. Could be something stronger, could be something that leaves a residue, could be mixed with something. So, anyway, like, it's more over for him rather than them. Like, he could have just saved himself and just sprayed closer towards the bottom than anything else. You don't want to leave any puddles, right? Because you don't want any, you know, cats or dogs or anything to, like, come and get curious. Most of them don't. Like, if they're an older dog, they're good. But if they're a younger dog, that's definitely something I would look out for. Definitely keep it away from, you know, the spray. But we'll keep going while he's servicing.
Pumped up. Basically what you're going to do is spray along the baseboards. As you can see here, he does not treat.
Hey, notice what he don't got on, right? He got the shoes on in their house, but he doesn't have no shoe covers. That's disrespectful.
Where the hardwood floors are. That's something you want to...
Oh, did I speak too soon?
Try and avoid hardwood floors.
No, he ain't got them
on. There could be water damage done to them even with the light spraying. In kitchens, you want to look underneath the sinks. You know, you can get in there. You can.
Okay, he got to be careful too, Because depending on what he's spraying, I'm assuming he's spraying what's known as like Alpine WSG. It's safe enough to where you can spray around people eating is what they say. But spraying inside of like a cabinet, especially like this, I don't really like to do it, mainly because look what's in here, right? It's nothing but like cleaning products, dish products that they wash their dishes with, right? Cleaning products. The wipes are in the back. You can see that. The wipes are in the front. But if you spray back there, right, just because you spray in one area, it doesn't mean that there's not going to be any type of like particles or anything like floating back. So, I mean, it might receive some chemicals, but sometimes like people are like, oh man, like, I touched the soap. I don't understand like, why I got a rash or whatever it is. It could be they're allergic to whatever you sprayed in here. So you got to be careful spraying on your cabinets. Usually like if the cabinet is like pretty like scarce, like there's like maybe one or two things in there. All right, cool. But something like this where it's already packed and he probably doesn't even see like this little black stuff down here. That might be like a mat. It could be like the, extra, it could be like black Brillo pads for all we know. So just be careful.
Treat and spray along those valves where the
yeah, you get a lot of those on the on like kitchen houses, the little like child safe locks.
So there's a point of entry for the pipes to come through. Insects can gain access through that point, such as ants or roaches. You can also treat those by using an aerosol, such as Phantom, or you can also treat that by, using a dust, such as the Boractin dust. Inside
Boractin,
the house,
Delta dust.
You want to try and avoid the furniture.
Defense dust.
You can get back behind most beds or most behind.
Hey, I'm gonna give him credit. He's hitting real like cracks and crevices. Well, not necessarily cracks and crevices, but he's hitting like good space. Especially like behind the dresser. He hit like behind the bed. He's hitting just about everywhere.
Bathrooms, get in, get back behind things.
Yep, behind the commode.
All
right, he's watching out.
Such things as like the shower curtain. Sometimes there might be clothes or something on the floor. You want to avoid those. Again, here we have a sink. All
right, see, I wouldn't spray in there, right? Notice what's already in there, right? A little step stool, right? I'm assuming this little purple thing is something for a baby, right? So he's already doing.
Check under there.
No. I could be wrong.
Get in if you can get back behind. Things,
tell me that's not a kid footstool.
Right there. In laundry rooms, a lot of times you can get back behind.
That's good.
The
washer and dryer.
Again, you have pipes and stuff back there, so sometimes it's good to treat those. If you're in a
he's hitting everything behind the door.
You want to avoid the toys, so just kind of look for those points. A lot of times customers will pull their toys and everything away from the wall, and that will make it a lot easier for the technician to do the service. But otherwise, you can kind of treat around where the toys aren't. So that's pretty much everything you do for the inside. On the outside, the first thing, as a technician you want to do is inspect the premises. Check for things, a lot of times there's toys on the ground, dog chew toys. Just make sure there's nothing up against the foundation. A lot of times it's just a good idea to pull.
This man is going above and beyond. I gotta pause it right there. This man is going above and beyond. He's picking up dog toys, right? He's picking up children's toys. I mean, the most we might do is like, honestly, like we might move like maybe like a couple like pallets or something out the way. But he's picking up dog toys and throwing them in there. He's doing all the above. Most of the time, technicians will just skip. I'm not gonna lie. Why even try and risk it? Because what if we end up like breaking something or we end up touching it? And then it's just like a whole liability. So I give him credit on this one for going above and beyond, but not me.
Dog chew toys. Just make sure there's nothing up against the foundation. A lot of times it's just a good idea to pull it all away. You can probably do that as you're sweeping the eaves, but that's the next step you would go through is go through with the Webster pole, and what you'll do is you'll come up. A lot of times.
All right, let me go ahead and pause right here. Yeah. All right. This is probably the most important part of the service, right? The exterior. So he's starting off good. He's going with, he's trying to sweep the eaves, right? So he's going probably from the top of the eave, me, top of the eave, right, and even the top of the window, because sometimes there's usually spider webs up there, so they'll end up probably doing the whole top side, and maybe coming down the sides of the window, and then probably hitting the top of the eve.
Spider webs or wasp nests. Sometimes they're hard to see, so you just want to hit all the eaves there, as well as usually the tops of windows. Sometimes the spider webs will go down quite a bit on the windows, so you just want to see
He's doing
where
it.
they are.
Top of the windows right there.
Because, the Webster poles extend out and can reach pretty high. Can reach the second story eaves as well as the first story eaves. So basically, the technician's just going to go through, knock down anything that's there, especially like the wasp nests, and get that all taken care of for them. Customers.
People would have a lot less wasp nests if they would just buy the pole. Just buy the pole, buy the little web head brush that you can get for it. You get it on Amazon. All you gotta do, buy it. You just screw the little head on. You undo the. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do an unboxing of one of these. You just gotta unscrew like a small part of the pole, and literally it extends all the way out. As you can see, like his extends all the way out. You can just end up knocking out wasp nests. Like obviously, like be careful. I wish he had a wasp nest to actually like show y'all how to actually like knock it down, but this is good.
Really like having their eaves swept and cleaned off. This pretty important important service along with it. You can pretty much see how it's done. It's pretty basic, pretty simple thing to be.
No, he's doing a good job. So he's hitting everything. So yeah, no, this guy's thorough.
As he cleans that off,
but also could just be for the video, so he might not be stuck on time.
Make sure you secure that pole in when you're done, so that it doesn't go flying off on the freeway. The next step you're going to go through is the yard granulation. We use Entice, which is essentially boric acid granular. It works more like a bait than a regular insecticide. It works really well against crickets.
He is 100% right. You will see a lot of companies just about everywhere using Entice. It's a general bait, so yes, it does work for multiple things. The coolest thing about it is it actually floats in rain, and you can also put it inside of like closets depending on how much you put in there. But it's a very cool product. You can buy it. It's a little expensive right now, but it works very well. He's using his out of green. This is a bulb duster that he has in his hands, and he's also got like there's full on nitrite rubber gloves, and those are like the heavy duty ones. You'll see most pest control technicians have them. However, you won't always see them wearing them. There is also like the smaller like nitrite, the blue gloves that we tend to wear. You can pick those up at not Home Depot. You can pick those up at AutoZone or O'Reilly's if I'm not mistaken. So. Or whatever your main like auto parts shop you can get. So anything with gloves, except for like the black nitrite gloves. I'm not gonna lie, they don't breathe very well. But if you just like that heavy duty feel and you don't really care about your hands being sweaty, then I'd recommend those.
And earwigs. A lot of times that's a big problem people will have, especially in this area, and this really helps eliminate those problems. So as you can see, he fills up one of those little hand bulb dusters, and pretty much one for the front yard, one for the backyard will give you a sufficient amount to spread throughout, and just spreads it throughout all the grass areas as well as any flower beds and things like that. Just going through and getting a good coverage of it. It also works well for ants. Sometimes it works a little bit too well for fire ants. So we'll review fire ants a little bit more later on. As you can see, it just goes through. The next thing we'll be doing a power spray So what he does, what the technician will
All right, let me say this, right? All right. Power spray. What did he just do? Right. So the servicing was good. The order of operations was bad. Right. He decided to granulate, right, before spraying. Why wouldn't you spray and then granulate? Sorry, I had a little fly on there. That makes more sense to me. Right? You got the spray down, right? The sun is out, obviously. Most of what you spray is going to evaporate, which is good. And obviously, like the residue is going to be left on the ground. But it's less likely for it to mess with the actual bait because you can't have spray and bait in the same place, right? A repellent and an attractant. It doesn't work like that. So, or I mean, it could be a non-repellent too, and if it is, even better. But for the most part, if it were me, I would have sprayed first, and then I would have did the granules.
do is, make sure he's got the proper protective equipment on, such as the gloves, glass, either sunglasses or protective eyewear, wear a hat, long sleeves.
You're gonna start seeing this less and less with the power spray, with the rig and everything. What everybody's been using nowadays has actually been like those backpack sprayers. I'll review box that one too. But with the backpack sprayers, it's just easier to carry, right? You don't have to lug or you don't have to like pull this whole rig around. I mean, to me, like the rig is a little bit easier depending on like how you use it. But the backpack, you just kind of fill it up. If you need a gallon, you can put in a gallon. If you need up to 4 gallons, you can put up to 4 gallons. Everything, it's easy to mix, and you don't really get caught up with the rig reel. So it's nice because you can go just about anywhere on the yard. It's easy to like go upstairs, even like go up hills, things like that with the backpack. But with the power spray, you get a lot more volume, and I think that's why people like it more. But like I said, it's really all about application. I mean, you can do very good pest control, out of like a Home Depot. I've done pest control with a spray bottle, so you can, if you know what you're doing, you can do it right. But this is still good.
And goes through and sprays pretty much the foundation. About 2 to 3 feet up, 2 to 3 feet out. As you can see, he's just giving a simple, back and forth broad spray. You want to pay close attention to points of entry, such as where the hose spigot is. A lot of times there creates a gap there. You want to make sure and treat that area as well. Underneath the window sills, a lot of times things can build up there, and gaps can be opened up, cracks or something that things can gain access. So you want to be paying attention for those type of things and treat those areas well. And so, but it'll go through, spray all of that foundation around the entire perimeter of the home. You can see pretty much just going through. One of the things is when you get to where there's a concrete slab, and then by state regulations you can't spray the slab itself, so you kind of have to do just spot treatments.
That's true. You cannot spray the slab. People walk on there, and also you really don't. You don't even know what's on the slab for the most part, because you're gonna spray it. People are gonna walk across, drag it into the house, animals, pets, things like that. So that's usually why they don't spray slabs. It's easy to spot treat, a couple spots, because obviously there's gonna be like he was spraying the cracks earlier. There's normally going to be like ants, moving across that line, or even like smaller bugs. It's just an easy path for them. So it's better to spot treat on slab. Don't do anything illegal, and really like why these regulations are in place is so really you don't hurt yourself.
A pin stream right at that gap between the concrete slab and the house itself. Kind of a similar thing with like these pile of bricks here. He's going to treat around it, treat back behind it, and then treat around it. and then just kind of finish off, making sure you're getting the entire perimeter there sprayed. With these air conditioning units, you can kind of see it's going to do the same thing, treat around them and then get a pin stream spray to hit that gap between. Just pretty simple there. Yeah, the power spray typically will.
That gun that he has in his hand is what's known as a JD9. You could pick one up just about at any store, honestly. Y'all don't have Elliott's Hardware out there. Sorry, Texas is a little weird, but pick one up. You might be able to pick one up at Home Depot, and if not, it might be online. Other than that, you might have to just go find another place to do it. But there are a few places online that'll sell. I'll try and find you guys a link.
What we'll use, depending on the season and kind of the needs at the time, we'll use a bifenthrin product such as Talstar, but typically we'll use a microencapsulated product that we've used in the past, such as something like Seismic, Demand.
Okay. Yes, those work, but you have to also be careful. Talstar, probably the easiest to use, safest, especially when it comes to like the power sprays. It's not too strong, but then you start going with things like Seismic, where like I've used quite a few pest control products in my day, but Seismic is the only thing that I know that actually like makes me cough, guaranteed. Like as soon as you start spraying it, you'll get kind of like that weird like tickle. No. So definitely, I would probably just recommend using Talstar if it's just you doing DIY at home. Obviously, you're seeing how a professional does it, but we're not all professionals, if you know what I mean. On here, he's actually got the backpack, surprisingly. So remember I was talking about it's easier just to like maneuver with the backpack. So he's got the backpack on. It usually comes with like a wand. I'm assuming this is a Smith backpack instead of what's known as like a Flow Zone. It's like big and green, but no, you can end up buying one of these. I actually picked one up myself. About like it was like $220. It's good.
Sometimes we've used, another one that we use is Psychic, and those are microencapsulated products. We use those on the inside as well. They work really well. As you can see here, it's just showing him doing the service with a backpack sprayer instead of the power sprayer. It works pretty much the same way. But those microencapsulated particles work really well.
Okay, this part is one for y'all to definitely take note of. They're always talking about it like, oh, make sure you dust the weep holes, but I've never seen a customer actually like dust their own weep holes. So obviously, like this channel is to help you do DIY, and this one right here, y'all should definitely take down. He's gonna use a dust, and he's gonna put it into the weep holes. It stays a lot better in the summertime, if you ask me. Obviously, like the rain doesn't help because things are gonna be like crawling upwards. That's usually why you see like you'll have like earwigs or like spiders or a bunch of like weird insects always like crawling towards the house whenever it rains. Obviously, the spray will help with that because they're going to crawl up and go through some of the insecticide that's been put down. But if they try and crawl in the weep holes, which is usually why you see a bunch of insects whenever it's raining, they'll actually have to go through the dust. And a lot of times they get stopped before they actually get through. So that's why you want to put dust in the weep holes. And he's just going to go over this right now. So
have a longer residual and last longer. On the after doing a power spray, especially on initial services, we're going to treat inside of each of the weep holes with a dust such as boractin or delta dust, which works really well to create that barrier inside the voids between the brick and the home itself. And this is what's essentially the same service that you could see with a lot of the tubed type homes. This is just an alternate way of treating, getting into that gap there. Basically, he's going to go through and puff in dust into each of those weep holes. And
One warning though. You might hurt your back, just to be honest with you. So having to like bend down low, especially for all those weep holes, you might feel your back hurt. But trust me, it's very much worth it. This is a lot of times why most pest control companies don't require technicians to do weep holes now. Obviously, like the technician, if they like you, they'll do it out of like good faith. Like, oh, okay, well, let me go ahead and like prime the house for you, do the weep holes, spray around, blah blah blah. But most technicians now, especially if they have like stops anywhere from like 12 to 15 a day, right? They don't really have time to just kind of sit and spend time puffing in each and every hole of your house. Like, this, it's better if y'all do it on your own. So in that way, it's like, you know, you're double protected. It's like you're at least doing your part and they're doing their part. So
it fills in that void and gap where especially spiders like to hang out and build their nests. So it helps take care of those, as well as help keep that from being a point of entry for ants and other things. Again, here's the fire ant mound. He's going to use a specific fire ant bait for it, such as the Advion fire ant bait, which works really well to.
yeah, he's going to talk about Advion fire ant bait. There's another one, it's called Extinguish. To be honest with you, they're all just about the same. What else? There's actually one more product that works kind of like that too. I forgot what it's called. I'll try and remember. But yeah, no, the fire ant bait or Extinguish, they work really well for fire ant mounds. Don't put out too much of it. Obviously, just use just a little. And also, last but not least, don't just throw it right on top of the mound. Kind of throw it like around the mound, so they have to actually like come out. Most of the time, whenever you throw it on top of the mound, you'll actually even see ants will take it. Some of them will actually take them out. Others will take the ones that are out and actually bring them in. It's very weird. But it's almost like somebody throwing it. It's like handing somebody a turkey versus throwing it through their front door. So
Take care of them. So he'll treat the ant mounds individually. Then you get to the garage, and as you can see,
man, I gotta give it to this guy. He's really going above me on. He's hitting the top of the garages. Most of y'all, like whenever you open your garages, I mean, if you haven't noticed, you'll probably notice after this. You got like cobwebs up there. You might even have them like over the door and then like the corners on the backside. He's taking his web brush and he is going along the top and getting rid of those webs. It's good. I give him credit. However, you got to be careful with the web heads too, because a lot of times if you're using them on the outside, that same like black dust that builds up on the top of the web head will actually start to smear in somebody's garage. So now you have a bigger problem. Yeah, you got rid of the webs, but now you have a weird black smear. Well, how are you going to get that black smear off? You're going to have to try and scrub it, which you might ruin a wall and not know. Or you might have to replace it, and God forbid that happens.
you're going to sweep the garage kind of like you do with the eaves as well. A lot of times this is done just simultaneously as the outside is done. Just have the customer open the garage door and he can do it all at once. With the garage, it's important to sweep the top, but also check, because you probably are going to have to sweep along the sides and sweep along the base as well. A lot of spider webs will build up right there at that corner.
That corner is always the worst. Can't lie to you. That corner is always the worst. Because obviously, like, that's the entry point on where everything gets in the garage, right? So that's going to be the most build up, the worst area too. Some people, they still use like the glue traps on the sides. I do, and I don't like glue traps. Obviously, like if the animal isn't supposed to be in there, I feel bad because they ended up in the glue trap. However, it's very good at like stopping a lot of things from like making it into the house. You know, even like some defense is better than no defense in my opinion. But like I said, the reason why he's having to hit that corner real hard, because like I said, that's usually the biggest buildup of spiders. You even have like mud daubers, which they didn't like touch in on here, which are like those like weird like mud mounds or little like the mud balls that appear like on top of your garage or in like weird parts on the outside of the house. Those are mud daubers. They're not aggressive, which is good, so you can knock down their little nest. And 9 times out of 10, there's usually nothing in there. Sometimes you might find like a little baby worm, but it's nothing that you can't do yourself.
And so it's important that that's swept away and treated really well. And so as you can see, it goes through, here he's just an example with the backpack sprayer. You could use the power sprayer or the B&G compressed sprayer. Again, see, customer has a lot of things right there, so you're not going to spray their items, but spray along, just kind of along kind of like treating the baseboards. Then what you're going to do is leave some sticky traps, which helps to catch things that might enter in at those points of entry at the base of the garage door. This works really well also to help catch mice if they're going to try and get in through those gaps at the base of the door. And so as you can see, as he places them just right there by the base of the garage door. And then when the technician goes out, he can inspect those, see what type of activity they might be having, and being able to take care of that. One thing, just a reminder for the technicians, is to always remember, make sure the gates are closed, especially if they have dogs. You don't want to end up having to chase after.
Hopefully this video has helped you out, learned a couple tricks to the trade. Shout out to Proz Pest Control for at least putting their technician and putting it out there, showing what they're doing. You hire a pest control company, you'll obviously like see this go on, and you can also make some adjustments if you don't see some of these things happening. Once again, thank y'all for popping in. Like, subscribe. More of these little reviews and tips to come. Should have some unboxing videos coming soon too. And be careful, swarm season's right around the corner. I'll see you guys.